The most dangerous person in the room isn't the one who's angry. It's the one who's finally decided to stop being nice. You've been told your whole life that selfishness is a character flaw, that putting yourself first makes you a bad person, that the generous, the humble, the self-sacrificing, they're the ones who win in the end. They don't, and somewhere deep in you, you already know that. Here's the trap no one tells you about. You were trained, not taught, trained, to associate selfishness with shame. From childhood, share your toys. Don't be greedy. Think about others. And those aren't bad lessons in isolation. But somewhere along the way, that training crossed a line. It didn't just teach you to be kind, it taught you to be last. It taught you to make yourself small so other people could feel big. To exhaust yourself so others could rest comfortably. To swallow your own needs and call it virtue. And here's the psychological trap. The more you sacrifice for others, the more righteous you feel. And the more righteous you feel, the harder it becomes to stop. Because stopping feels like betrayal of who you are, of what you stand for. So you keep going, and you keep getting used. Not because people are evil, but because you train them to expect it from you. Let's talk about what's actually happening. There is a concept in psychology called the doormat effect. It doesn't come from being weak. It comes from being highly agreeable with no boundaries. Agreeable people are warmer, more likable on the surface. But in competitive environments, careers, relationships, negotiations, they consistently end up with less money, less respect, less time. Why? Because agreeableness unchecked signals availability, and availability in a world of limited resources makes you a resource. Think about the people in your life right now. There's probably someone you'd never cancel on, never say no to, never disappoint. And there's probably someone else, maybe one person, maybe several, who would cancel on you without hesitation. Who would ask for your time and never offer theirs? Who'd take your advice and never credit you? Who'd lean on your strength and never ask if you're okay? Now ask yourself honestly, which one of those people gets more of what they want? This isn't coincidence. This is the architecture of human behavior. People, consciously or not, are always reading signals. And when you signal that your time is infinitely available, that your boundaries are suggestions, that your discomfort is negotiable, they believe you. The self-sacrifice myth. There's a particular kind of person who suffers from this most, the ambitious but resentful. You know who you are. You work harder than most people around you. You're more capable, more thoughtful, more reliable. And yet somehow you're not further ahead. Somehow, the louder ones, the bolder ones, the ones who ask for things without apologizing, they keep getting the promotions, the opportunities, the rooms. And you've been told to wait your turn. Do the work. Be patient. Your time will come. It won't, not by default. Because the game was never about merit alone. Merit is the price of entry. The game is played on a completely different board. Dark psychology of giving too much. Here's something that will make you uncomfortable. When you give without limits, you don't just lose energy. You lose identity. Research in behavioral psychology shows that chronic people pleasers lose the ability to identify their own preferences over time. Ask them what they want for dinner, and they freeze. Ask them what they actually want from life, and they give you someone else's answer. Because they've spent years outsourcing their own desires in favor of managing other people's comfort. That's not generosity. That's self-erasure. And the cruel irony? The people you sacrifice for, they don't respect you more for it, they may like you. But liking and respecting are not the same thing, not even close. Let me describe a few things, and you tell me if they sound familiar. You say yes when you mean no, and then you feel a low, simmering anger for the rest of the day. You've apologized for things that weren't your fault, more times than you can count. You monitor other people's moods like it's your job. If someone seems off, you immediately wonder what you did. You downplay your own achievements around certain people, not out of modesty, but to avoid making them uncomfortable. You've helped someone who never asked how you were doing afterward. You've gone out of your way for people who would never do the same for you, and when you finally realize it, you feel stupid. Not just used, Stupid, like you missed something obvious that everyone else could see. That shame, that particular flavor of it, is important. Hold on to it, because that feeling is the beginning of something. Here's what prolonged selflessness, the distorted kind, actually costs you. First, your ambition gets hollowed out. When you spend enough years prioritizing everyone else's agenda, you start to lose your own. The goals you had at 22 feel distant, embarrassing even. Who were you to want those things? That erosion doesn't happen in a single day. It happens slowly, in the accumulated weight of every compromise you made to keep the peace. Second, you attract people who need a host. There is a certain type of person who gravitates toward the endlessly generous, not because they're malicious, but because you're functional. You solve problems, you smooth things over, you show up, and they stay, not for you, for what you do. The moment you stop performing that function, you'll discover the relationship had a very different foundation than you thought. Third, you resent the people you love most. This is the darkest consequence, because eventually the resentment doesn't stay aimed at strangers. It finds its way to the people closest to you, your partner, your friends, your family. The people you chose to be generous with become the people you secretly resent for not reciprocating. But here's the brutal truth. You never asked them to. You just expected them to notice. And they didn't. Because you never told them what you needed. Because you didn't think you were allowed. Now, here's the part where I don't tell you to become a monster, because that's not what this is about. The real insight isn't be selfish. The real insight is this: you cannot sustainably give what you have not first secured for yourself. This isn't philosophy, it's systems logic. A person running on empty cannot generate anything of value for anyone. A person without self-respect cannot model it in relationships. A person who has no sense of their own worth will always be negotiated down to zero. The selfish people who always win, they're not winning because they don't care about others. They're winning because they've decided at some foundational level that their time, their energy, their goals, their peace, these things are non-negotiable. That's not cruelty. That's architecture. They built something to protect what matters. And here's the counterintuitive truth. The person who is genuinely good at saying no makes their yes mean something. When someone who never refuses you says yes, it means nothing. When someone who protects their time says yes, it means everything. Which one do you want to be? Let's talk about what this actually looks like in practice. 1. Stop confusing availability with value. Your value is not determined by how quickly you respond, how much you help, or how little you ask for in return. In fact, extreme availability communicates the opposite of value. It says, I have no better demands on my time than whatever you need right now. Scarcity and selectivity signal worth. Constant access signals expendability. 2. Let discomfort be theirs to hold. You've been unconsciously solving everyone else's emotional discomfort the moment you sense it. Someone's upset, you fix it. Someone's disappointed, you apologize. Someone's not getting what they want, you adjust. Stop. Other people's discomfort is not your emergency. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stay still, stay calm, and let someone sit with their own feelings. You are not responsible for managing the emotional lives of adults. 3. Want things, out loud. The truly dangerous people, the ones who move through life with force, know what they want and they say it plainly. No over-explanation. No apology trail. Just, this is what I want. Here's what I'm willing to do to get it. There's nothing more disarming than someone who knows exactly what they want and asks for it without drama. Start practicing that, in small situations first, and bigger ones. 4. Audit your relationships like a portfolio. Some relationships generate energy, some drain it. Some have reciprocity built in, some are fundamentally extractive. Sentimental loyalty to one-sided dynamics is not virtue, it's habit. Look at your 5 closest relationships. Ask honestly, where's the energy flowing? This doesn't mean cutting everyone who isn't perfect. It means seeing clearly and making conscious choices from that clarity. 5. Redefine what selfish means. Here's the frame shift. The old definition, Selfish means not caring about others. The new definition, selfish, means caring enough about yourself to show up as a whole, intact, undepleted person, not for them, for you, and as a result, genuinely for them, because you're actually present, because you're not running a secret ledger of resentment, because your generosity, when you offer it, is real. That is the difference between a person who gives from abundance and a person who gives until there is nothing left and then calls it love. You came into this world as a whole person with needs, wants, and a particular shape. And somewhere along the way, you started sanding down the edges to fit more comfortably into spaces that were never built for you. You called it maturity. You called it being a good person. You called it love. But you were the one disappearing. The selfish people always win, not because they're heartless, but because they never forgot that they exist, that their life is the only one they're actually living, that no one else is going to protect what they don't protect themselves. You can be kind and still have edges. You can be generous and still have limits. You can love people and still come first. That's not selfishness. That's just finally deciding to be real. And the world, strangely, uncomfortably, powerfully responds very differently to a real person than it ever did to a convenient one. Think about that.